Hey everyone, hope you're having a great Tuesday. This is the Supernatural Syndicate, a show that is an arm of the Horror Syndicate on Facebook and YouTube. Um, Sorry, my dog just started barking for random reasons. Uh,
Good boy.
he's a good boy. That's what I call him.
Yes.
So I'm Seth, I'm Virginia and Luke, and tonight we are going to be talking about the fifth episode from the first season of Supernatural, Bloody Mary. So how are you guys doing today?
Good.
Very good. Happy.
Good. And we are a sickly bunch. We didn't do this last week because another one of
Butthole
us was sick,
goblins.
which is a what's that?
Butthole goblins. Woo! It was rough.
Okay, whatever you say, man.
Woohoo.
So anyway, let's get into it. So in this episode, basically Seth's kind of dealing with his guilt over Jess's death. He's having nightmares, and the Winchester brothers take on a case, which starts off with them looking into a man whose eyes burst, and it's all because a bunch of little kids played Bloody Mary. So I mean, all those kids are responsible. Let's just face it,
That
bunch of little
sucks.
murderers. Um, but this
That's
isn't
so
your
nice of you to
typical.
Damn,
say.
kids.
I'm a dick, I know.
Yeah.
Um, so because these little kids are a bunch of little bastards and they start killing people. No, it's basically it's a different take on Bloody Mary where it doesn't matter who says it. The Bloody Mary uh, figure comes after a select group of people who each have dark secrets in which kind of rely around someone dying, to put it mildly. And yeah, so that's what the episode is about. Let's get into our first thoughts on this episode. Virginia, you go first because Luke's a talker.
Seth. Yeah, he is. No, I love this episode. When it first came out, I was so excited that it was Bloody Mary because I am a sucker for all the episodes that have something to do with some kind of urban legend. It just pulls me in. I mean, because everybody knows about it. So it's like, oh, yes, something I know. I want to see how they do it and how they rearrange the actual story and kind of make it their own. And I love that they were able to do that. Isaiah. Yeah, so I really enjoy this episode. Um, it's one that I can watch over and over again and not mind it. That's all I got.
What about you, Luke?
I dug it, man. I love Bloody Mary. We did y'all ever play it or do it any when y'all were young?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Did you, Seth?
Oh, I'm sure. Actually, I
Well,
did.
So
I rotated. I said I did Bloody Mary, Candyman, Bloody Mary, Candyman, Bloody Mary, Candyman. None of those motherfuckers came for me.
damn
I
it.
was gonna say we're all clearly really smart, but Seth, you're an idiot because you did
Did
Candyman
both.
too. That's
I've
messed
done
up.
hey, I've done Candyman too, y'all. No shit.
Okay, yeah, you both need to
I
get
did.
away. I ain't playing that game.
We after I saw it in '92, it really fucking freaked me out, man. And I was at my aunt's house one Saturday, and I just remember I'm gonna do it, and I was really scared, even though I knew the shit wasn't real. It still creeped me out. I was still dreading saying on the fourth one. I was like, you know, but yeah. The episode itself, I liked it. Not so much for Bloody Mary. I mean, she was cool. It's a cool urban legend, but I dug the character development with Sam and Dean. Man, I
Yeah.
really dug. Uh, I don't want to talk about it because it's my favorite scene. We'll do that in a minute, but Yeah, I dug what happened between them, and I always felt bad for the dad. Well, no, I didn't. He did something bad, but it before I found that out, I was like Seth, the damn kids. How would that suck? You're like duper duper duper, and then these kids are like Bloody Mary, and then all of a sudden this bitch comes and gets you. I'd be like, oh, kids, curse you, fucking fucking assholes.
Curse you.
Yeah, man, curse you. But yeah, I like it. I'm digging the cinematography and the direction, man. I didn't like this one as much as last week's, but I tried to find a favorite shot, but I forgot while I was watching it. I got into it and completely forgot to look for that. So I'm trying to throw that in there too. But the character development between Sam and Dean, them getting closer and actually talking about deeper things than just like hold it all in, and they actually talked about some stuff that matters, some important things, and I liked it. I can rewatch it. Yeah, it's one of those I can rewatch just about any time. I would watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love how they
Yeah,
build
I
it.
think.
I give it an
Well,
8.5. Yeah.
Nice. Well, like you guys, I think it is actually one of the definitely strong episodes of, especially the first half of season one. Um, like Luke mentioned, there's some development there. I think throughout each episode, we've slowly been working. We've slowly seen Sam work through his grief over what happened with Jess, and in this one, it's all about his guilt, and he learns through this case that he's working. He has to help somebody else out, and the story may be a one-off, but it kind of thematically connects with Sam's journey of and to let go that he felt Jess's death. So it was really good on that level. And then also, Luke, you mentioned the cinematography of it. This is one of the things I really love about the first 5 seasons, especially. I mean, you could probably go to like season 8 or so with this, but like they had the look and feel of horror. The
Yep.
way things were lit, the way things were shot. There was definitely a very horror centric vibe, especially to this episode. And I think there were a couple moments even with some of the stuff in the mirror. It's all stuff we've seen before in other movies and stuff. Someone looks into a mirror and then their reflection looks back and does something different. We've seen that stuff before, but I thought it was done really well in here, where this kind of felt like probably one of the creepier episodes of the first season, especially. But yeah, I like it. I think it's a really good episode. So yeah, those are my first thoughts.
That scene you're talking about where she freezes mirrors, with Kiefer Sutherland, that was a good one, but that's what that reminded me of. And man, that's really creepy. Anything to do with reflections to me is fucking creepy. If
Well,
you're
and one of the things that I really, really liked with this episode was every time Bloody Mary shows up, she's in all the like things that have a reflection as they're like walking down a hall or in the house. I love how they did that because it creeped me the hell out. So I really, really like that.
Yeah. Even in the guys, like even when the school teachers like glasses seeing in there as well. Yeah. And I also like I like the solution to this, where they make her look at her own reflection, which is straight out of Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
Yep.
So I actually had a question on that part, and I don't know the answer. I'm hoping that you guys actually know. So obviously they, like you said, they do the part where they make her look at her own reflection. And you have Sam, whose eyes are already bleeding, but then Dean's start bleeding too. But your eyes aren't supposed to be bleeding unless you're responsible for the death of somebody. So wouldn't...
True.
It confused me.
Yeah, little loophole.
So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to make of that.
I question that as well. But I mean, I did question that as well. I mean, I don't know if maybe it's just because he kills monsters and it doesn't matter what you kill as long as you kill something. Are you responsible for someone's death? I don't know. Yeah, we've seen him in later seasons, especially make the questionable decisions about who to kill, who not to kill,
which is awesome.
So, oh yeah, of course. Yeah, because I mean, I was by that too, watching that earlier today, but I don't know. I'm kind of like trying to justify it in my head with, you know, maybe it relates to, you know, his job as a hunter, which, you know, he kept, you know, as we learned, he kept doing on and on and on while Sam went off to college. So he's got way more killing experience, you know?
Right.
Lucky to be alive. We had his dad, but still on jobs by himself, man. That had to be tough. Dangerous.
Yes, Isaiah.
Yeah. So
That's
did you guys go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, that's funny because when I was researching stuff, it's only in mirrors, never in reflection. That is a cool thing they used, making it everything that has a reflection. So that's pretty cool. So I'm agreeing.
Yeah.
With y'all. Yeah.
That's good. Is there anything else you guys would want to, you know, talk about with this episode before we move on to favorite scene and stuff?
No, that's what I want to talk about.
Okay, well, let's get into favorite scene. Luke, go ahead.
Okay,
you're really excited like a little schoolgirl, so go ahead.
Hey, Seth, sugar.
I was about to do that.
I love it when they're driving and Sam and him are talking. At first, they're talking about the case, and then they get to talking about a little more meat and potatoes. And Dean actually pulls over because Sam is blaming himself for Jessica's death. And Dean is like, you know, you got to quit this shit. You got to stop. And it's not your fault. And I like that a lot. Dean and Sam later on says, well, that's my favorite thing, my favorite line, but basically I have secrets. And Dean's like, well, I don't like that shit. That was funny to me. I thought that was really funny. You know what I'm talking about? He kind of pauses a second. He's like, no, I don't like that shit. Well, he don't say shit, but yeah. But the scene where they pull over, man, I love it because if you're thinking like you're watching it and you're on episode 5 now, and this is the first time you're watching it, you don't know and you have no idea. It's cool to see them slowly reveal that because we all know how it ends and the ride that they own and the whole kit and caboodle. But this, starting out in the genesis of their relationship, anything that deals with that and draws them closer together as family and as brothers, especially they had all that time apart. I kind of think Dean would be more fucked up, Seth, because if I was out hunting by myself, I would be on edge all the fucking time. They're popular. People know who the fuck they are. They're starting to build a reputation anyway. John's got one, had one for years, you know. It's just, I like to see them come together and Dean not get a normal life, but an almost normal relationship with his brother. Because I love Dean and I feel like he was alone for a long time, even with his dad. And him and Sam, I like to see them cut up. I like to see it when they, like this episode, they're being real. I like that. But that was my favorite scene, man. The rain, the car. He cuts it off, dramatic fashion. And he's like, dude, quit blaming yourself. And Sam's like, oh, I don't know. But it's good shit. That's all I got. Yeah.
You're copying me. That's my line. That's all I got.
Ah,
You thief.
I don't want to say I'm done.
What about you, Vic?
I'm done.
Oh, I actually, because I really love the being able to see Mary and everything that has a reflection. I love the scene with Charlie when she's in the classroom and she's seeing it everywhere she looks. And like you said earlier, she's seeing it in the teacher's glasses and everything. And she's freaking out. I just love how that's filmed. So that was the creepiest part. One of the creepiest parts of the episode for me. Obviously, the ending with Mary coming through the crawling out of the freaking mirror like the ring and just gives me the creeps. I'm just like, ah. I'm like, yeah, no, thank you. No, but I love it, and I love how you're getting more of the banter with Sam and Dean, like when they're going to look at the body and Sam's having to pay the dues so he can actually see him, and Dean's all like, "Hey, I earned that," and Sam's like, "Yeah, by playing poker." So they're getting that banter when they're going back and forth, and I really like that. You're getting more of the character development with them. That's all I got.
Hey, and what about the scene in the class? The actress that played Charlie, she did a really fucking good job, man. I thought.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, her freaking out. That was really intense, man. Yeah, I know. I was just saying that. I thought that was pretty cool. Her flipping.
Yeah, she did great.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so mine is going to be actually the end scene. When they are driving out of town and Dean asks Sam, to tell him about the secret that's kind of bothering him, and Sam politely declines. And then he looks out the window. Yeah, and then he looks out the window and he sees Jess as they drive by. And I think the reason why I love it so much is because it's very reminiscent of a scene in Phantasm 2 where Reggie and Mike are driving the Cuda, and because I think there's a lot of inspiration from Phantasm with Supernatural, with driving a muscle car and two guys on the road. But you got Reggie and Mike, and they're driving by, and Mike is in the passenger seat and looks out the window, and he sees a woman standing there hitchhiking, and just the way the camera moves and the way he reacts, it's very reminiscent of that. So
yeah,
as a huge Phantasm fan, I love that they did that in this.
You don't like episode. That movie?
That is cool, man. I never thought about that. That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Just the lady on the side of the road. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys got a favorite line? I'm going to start with Virginia on this one.
Give me 1 second. Her alarm's going off.
Oh. Alarm's going off. Ay. Can I go ahead and go, or do you want me to wait for him? There he is. You were gone forever.
I know.
Yeah, Luke. Way to go, Luke. Yeah.
What are y'all, dogs? Dogs are like, you've been gone forever. It's been 2 minutes.
Team player,
favorite
Luke.
line
Come
for
on, man.
me? Yeah, I know. Come on. Jeez. I love when they're in the hotel and Sam is sleeping and he wakes up and he's like, "Why'd you let me fall asleep?" Yep. And he's like, because I'm an awesome brother, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, "What'd you dream about?" And Sam says, "Lollipops and candy canes."
Yes.
I just love that line because it always cracks me up. Yo. Yeah, so that would be mine. Lollipops and candy canes. I'm going to be pretty simple with this one.
That's funny, man. That was going to be mine originally.
Well, now it can't be.
Well, I know. That's why I said originally. But that was funny as hell. I laughed about that earlier. I got tickled.
What about you, Luke?
I loved it, what you were talking about when Dean is like, well, he kind of alludes to it twice. Sam's like, well, I haven't told you everything. And then at the end, they're talking, and Dean is kind of prodding him a little bit. And he's like, well, there's some things about me I don't want to tell you. And that's mine. I like that. Again, I'm being sentimental tonight. I like, even though Sam doesn't open up to him, Dean is still trying to, kind of like Joel on The Last of Us Sunday. He's usually kind of a closed off character, but they're, like I said earlier, it's like he's open and he wants to connect with Sam. But Sam's like, hey, yo, there's some things, I need to keep to myself, and I can respect that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't say it verbatim, but that's it. It's so.
Yeah. So I didn't select one.
What?
I watched the episode. I didn't select one. I didn't think of a line that really kind of grabbed me from this episode.
Okay, well, that's unacceptable. So you need to pull one out your ass right now. Pick something.
I guess I like the exchange when they were bribing that one guy to see the body. We'll just
that is funny.
That's good.
That's
funny.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh,
I support that.
Did y'all notice, like in these first episodes, I never really paid attention, their get-ups aren't getting by anybody. Hell, and one of them didn't got arrested, but like they're in that house and that girl's, who the fuck are y'all? You're not, we work with him. He's a day trader. You didn't fucking work with him. It's like they're not good at it. I know we've talked about that before, but that tickles me, man. I'm going to be watching to see when they finally just nail it.
Yeah, definitely.
That's funny.
It's like when they fully get into character.
Yeah, exactly. They're learning as they go now. And when they perfect it, that's what I'm looking forward to. I wish we could watch it like all for the first time again and not, you know what I mean? Because we know the whole thing. But yeah.
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 All right. You guys have anything else to say about this episode before we move on to Virginia's trivia?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. We'll take it away, Virginia.
So there wasn't a ton of trivia with this episode, which obviously there wasn't with the last one either. But first things first would be the bitch count with saying bitch or son of a bitch. I was so disappointed. There's none in this episode. None. I was not happy about that. I'm like, Dean, you're slacking. Come on, dude, get it together. Not cool. Music. So the whole thing with obviously Netflix not having the rights or blah, blah, blah. So they had different songs that came in, but it was only 3 different scenes that had it different. When, let me see, plays during Jill's encounter with Bloody Mary. In the original, it's Sugar We're Going Down by Fall Out Boy, whereas in Netflix, they play Never Forget by State of Man. The next one is plays in the car when they're talking about how Mary is connected to all of the mirrors. In the original, it's Rock of Ages by Def Leppard. And Netflix, it's I'm All Done by The Peasants. And then the last one is plays at the end of the episode when Sam sees Jess on the side of the road. In the original, it's Laugh I Nearly Died by the Rolling Stones. And then in Netflix, it's Bones into Dust by Fred Herring. Yeah, so that's the only 3 scenes that actually had different songs. I'm really curious to see, because I think this is the only season that has different songs or different music for the original compared to Netflix, right? Because of the licensing, didn't they get it approved for season 2? I think. I need to check that out.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I need to look. Let me see. Kirby, no. some of the trivia that came up was the scene where Sam and Dean go into the bathroom, where they're checking out, from the first the shoemaker from his house. They go to the bathroom to investigate, and Dean kind of walks in and turns on the light. And you see the light turn on, but then it pans out and shows the floor, and then it shows the window, and you can tell that the light in the bathroom is actually off. And then it goes back and looks at them, and the light is on again. So they kind of goofed up with that. Let's see. Some of the times the reflection for like when Charlie was walking by or looking at a reflection, some of the times it actually showed it like she was looking straight forward, and instead the reflection was showing it in a different way. Kind of like what episode was it? Really, the Kid in the Water. Really?
Episode
How
3?
did I forget?
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole thing where they were in the car and you can see that Sam's looking at Dean and his reflection is him looking at Dean. So instead of showing the back of his head, it's doing that. So it was the same thing with this. It happened a couple times with Charlie, that it was showing the wrong kind of reflection. Let's see. The young girl at the beginning who actually says Bloody Mary, who plays Lily Shoemaker, she actually comes back and plays a different role in season 14, episode 4. So I'm really curious to see, now that I know that, I'm curious to see, if I know to pay attention to see what she does and how she does, because she's playing a different role, but obviously way older. The girl that plays Bloody Mary for Mary Worthington makes 2 other scenes in season 14, episode 20, and then season 15, episode 1, playing the same character but coming back, which I totally forgot about that, because apparently I'm really smart. One of the other things that came up was when they're using the night vision on the video camera when they're first investigating the bedroom. Dean makes the remark, "Do I look like Paris Hilton?" And they were saying that it's likely referring to, obviously, the sex video that Paris Hilton did because it was in night vision. Hey, get down. Sorry, Kirby keeps jumping on me. I'm covered in hair. Let's see. The other thing was, depending on who you ask, or articles that you read, Bloody Mary's origins, which can go back to Mary Tudor, but Luke, you're going to touch more on the history of that, so I'm not going to go into that one. The scene where Sam is having the scene where he's having the conversation with himself and then his reflection in the mirror. It was saying that they did like a split screen, and then they had it recorded and put like earpieces in his ears so that he could actually hear it and respond at the appropriate time. So he was actually having a conversation with himself. So I thought that was pretty interesting, because I wasn't sure exactly how that worked out until I heard that. And then the one other goof would be when, like a half hour in, when they're in the car, a vehicle passes by and you can see that the camera shakes. So that's like the one main goof that they had in the episode. I was kind of disappointed that there weren't more, because I love when that happens. And this is, so you have in the pilot where Dean actually calls Sam Sammy. And in episode 2, 3, and 4, he doesn't at all. And in this episode, it's the second time that he calls him Sammy. So I didn't catch on to that at first until I saw that. And I was like, oh shit, that's right. I was like, okay.
I do kind of. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I do like that in this one, because Dean calls him Sammy and Sam corrects him saying it's Sam. But then later on, when they meet Gordon Walker, remember that episode, the first episode? I think it's the first episode they meet Gordon Walker. Gordon keeps calling Sam Sammy.
Yep.
And Sam's like, only he gets to call me that.
Yep.
So
yes. I love that.
Yeah. But anyway, sorry to interrupt. Continue.
No, you're fine. That was actually the last one that I had.
Okay,
So you had
good.
great timing.
Perfect.
I know.
All right, Luke. Why don't you tell us all about Bloody Mary? Everything you
Okay.
know about her.
All right. So
We're gonna be grading
it's
you.
all right, cool. There
Yeah.
is this is a popular legend. Like I said earlier about doing it when you were young. We used to go down into the boiler room, into the locker room and do it in 6th grade. All of us, and we'd get in there and stuff and do it, but it's really popular. A lot of people do it. I've heard of it. Basically, it's of a corpse, what it appears as, and it's either a ghost, spirit, whatever you want to call it. Pick your poison, but it's used. Cotoptromancy is when you use a mirror to view phenomenon or paranormal, and that's what that's called. And usually it's a group participation, but some people like doing it solo, but it's always said you'll die if you do it solo. So do it. I think it's like 3 in the episode, but it can also be 5 or 13 times. And, um, And of course, if you got to chant her name repeatedly, 5, 3, 5, 13 times, mostly group participation. Another cool thing that I found out that I did not know, we'll get to the other thing I didn't know later. They did greeting cards, Virginia. Did you know that? Bloody Mary greeting cards in like the early 20th century, man.
Yeah, you need to share those for me so I can post them on the page or share them on the page.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll do that. But it had like a young woman, and she was in a room, a dark room with a mirror, and she had a candle, and she was seeing her husband. Because originally, this legend was used to see the future. It wasn't about getting scared or seeing boogers. It was actually to see your future husband. It was primarily with young girls and women. Excuse me. Now, the original ritual is fucking weird. And I'm weird, so this is something for me to say. They would walk upstairs backwards, holding a candle in one hand and holding a mirror in the other. Okay?
Mhm.
And supposedly they would say Bloody Mary 3, 5, 13 times, whatever it called for. And they would either see their future husband or they would see a skull, which indicated their imminent death. So that's kind of a sucky day, man. I
You
think
think?
anyway. Yeah, it's kind of sucky.
A little bit.
Yeah, it does suck. Okay. And basically that's all. Most people know that stuff. What I didn't know was about Mary Warren, about Elizabeth Báthory, and about Mary Worth. I didn't know about those guys. I knew about Mary. I've heard her Bloody Mary, but the other two I had no idea. So throughout history, and historians call her this Bloody Mary. What she did is, man, she burnt hundreds of Protestants, man, at the stake. I think 350 to be exact is what is indicated in the history books. She reigned for 5 years, had no, not three, yeah, 350, burnt at the stake. She says she liked the traditional way, which is burning at the stake. Now, okay, but this caused kind of an uproar because people were like, she's killing people for religious reasons, blah, 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 blah. So after she died, her predecessor, her sister Elizabeth I, was like, okay, I'm going to call an audible. She would hang or draw and quarter them, but it was under the guise of treason, not religious persecution. So I thought that was kind of cool. Not cool to be drawn and quartered, but just cool that her sister called an audible. One thing that we know about Mary's reign is Fox's Book of Martyrs. It was written by John Fox in 1663. And It helped propel Mary I into English folklore. What he did is, I think it had 18,000. There was 4 editions. The first one had 18,000 pages. I couldn't find anything in that the article I was reading about the other ones, or I can't remember. But I do know the original one had 18,000 pages. It had 57 illustrations. There were wood carved engravings, and the cool thing about the drawings were, y'all, they were really fucking vivid and good. I was really surprised, man. 37 of them depict violence, the burnings, to kind of put it over, you know what I'm saying? Because this was passed around. It was popular. Fox's Book of Martyrs. It was in churches, cathedrals. It was like required reading of priests and stuff. And she did her shit for 5 years. But I was hoping she would have like a big dramatic demise, you know. Dude, she died of the flu.
Really?
Yes. The
flu
flu got her. Maybe they did biological warfare and they sent somebody in, achoo, and they sneezed on her and was like, oh.
And they sneezed on her.
But check this out. She had been complaining for several months of abdomen pain. They say that they think that maybe she had ovarian cancer. Oh. And there were some other symptoms, but the historians think that possibly she would have died anyway, a much more horrible death, which I think she earned. But yeah, Mary I reigned for 5 years, man. 350 people burned at the stake that we know of. And a lot of people have said, oh, it's blown out of proportion because of the book. It's propaganda. That's a good fucking point. But there were like a lot of fucking people who witnessed these public displays. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just blown out of proportion in a book. It was just as bad, if not worse. They say she was bloodthirsty, man. Hence the name Bloody Mary. Yeah. Right? Let me get a swallow. Hang on. I'm parched.
Parched.
Oh, I heard you were a spitter.
Hey, I'm a swallower, buddy. All right. Now we get to the Virginia. Are you laughing?
I am laughing.
Oh no, you're laughing again.
I can't help it.
I know. I can't help it.
I have no control.
I don't have any control about me talking too much, and you like to laugh. We all got her. And Seth likes to be quiet.
Exactly. That's why we work.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the mouth, you're the humor, and Seth is the brains.
I model my life after Silent Bob. I only speak when I do speak. It's meaningful.
Okay. Okay, I got you. All right. Elizabeth Báthory was a 17th century Hungarian countess. Oh, have y'all ever seen Hostel 2?
Ooh, yeah.
Okay.
Such a good movie, but it freaks me out.
Yes, me too. I'm terrified, as I've told you, of vanishing, disappearing because of my cousin and kids traveling. Or if I could I've had nightmares of me traveling like in a foreign land, like places I don't even know. It probably ain't even a real fucking place.
Just don't go stay in a hostel. You'll be fine.
And I disappear, or I come across shenanigans that lead to my waking up scared and sweating, so I don't like scary shenanigans. No shenanigans for me. But she was a 17th century Hungarian countess, and dude, 650 girls and young girls and women, and I'm talking young girls, y'all, like 5 and 6 year old. She would take them just like that woman did in Hostel 2. And she would even use a scythe too, man. They said she was, and she had like
that scene was brutal.
Dude, I felt so bad for that innocent girl. Oh my God. Can you imagine?
We're going to go from talking to about Supernatural to talking about Hostel 2.
Because it relates, because Elizabeth, man, was like, that's also, they called her a vampire. See, Bloody Mary in the legends, like contemporary, she's either scratches you, gets your eyes, which is on Supernatural, or steals your soul, or drinks your blood. It's even drinking your blood, and that comes from Elizabeth. Well, she had many ways. She would always bind them, and she would slice their wrists sometimes, bleed them out, collect their blood. She would bathe in it. And when she would bathe, she wouldn't just use one. She liked to use three. And she had 4 servants that helped her. Now, we don't know if the servants, I imagine they did it because they were fucking terrified.
I would hope so.
But well, in the end, they all get arrested, but she only gets confinement and they get death. So I don't think that's quite fair. But yeah, especially if they did this under duress, which I imagine they did. Some crazy bitch is your countess, and she's like, "Hey, I need women and girls to drink their blood and fucking wash my face with. It's my St. Ives, motherfucker. Help me get it." They'll be like, "Okay." But 650. And when she was arrested, there was 400 eyewitnesses that, or not 400 eyewitnesses. There were 30 people who witnessed. 400 people witnessed the aftermath, but there were 30 people who actually went into the cells she had and saw the remains and everything, and that was documented. So I'm really glad that was able to be documented for history. Because some of this shit, y'all, is so fucking crazy. You would swear it's a movie. And art imitates life. And that's where a lot of these movies get themes and all kinds of shit from. Because people come up with scarier shit than fucking Hollywood does.
Yeah, I mean, Elizabeth did some crazy crap. Seth Bailey Sarian actually did an episode on her.
Really?
Yeah, I love Bailey Sarian. I listen to her like every single night.
Mary Tudor,
and she does an episode on her.
Mary Tudor and Elizabeth Warren, their father too. He was a motherfucker. He didn't kill as many as them. I think his was like 57 or something. But they were all about numbers. Religious hysteria, man. It's fucking scary. Elizabeth. Yeah. And when they found her, man, after she had killed so many fucking people, you would think people would be like, where is all these folks going? But when she was found out, she was left in her castle, and basically on house arrest. Some people say, hey, she was sealed in this room and only fed like she was in prison, but a lot more people, servants, etc., said that she was able to freely walk around the castle, while the other ones were hanged and drawn and quartered. So the other 4 conspirators. All right, the last one. Okay, Mary Tudor had a lot of influence on Candyman's story, but Mary Worth did too. Now, there is some debate on if this woman existed. If she did exist, she's from Gurnee, Illinois, which is 40 miles north of Chicago, I think. And she was what was called, oh, I'm sorry, I'll wait. You ready? Okay. She was what was called the Reverse Underground Railroad. Have y'all ever heard of this? Reverse Underground Railroad.
No.
I hadn't either. And it's pretty obvious what the fuck it is. These people would, under the guise of the Underground Railroad, would go out, escape freed slaves would run, not freed, but searching for freedom. They would seek them out and they'd be like, yeah, we got you. They'd go through the whole 9 yards, just like the Underground Railroad did. But then they would capture them, reveal who they were, take them back, and they were severely fucking punished. Most were killed to make an example of and hung up. Well, that's what Mary Worth did, supposedly. She captured slaves, but it said that she fucking wouldn't return them. She would take them because she lived on the outskirts of Gurnee. If she existed, they say she lived on the outskirts of Gurnee. And it turns out, too, that she was also a witch. She practiced the dark arts, man. And she would use their corpses, their blood, organs for dark rituals, man. All kinds of stuff. Voodoo, dark magic. And she was eventually found out. And as well, they burned her ass at the stake. got her. We got two of them. Well, one of them, she's the only one that really gets her just desserts. The other ones get off kind of easy. House arrest and I forgot to tell you, Elizabeth. One day she felt her hands felt cold, and her servant was like, "Go lay down," and she did, and she died. So she died in her fucking sleep. But Mary Worth, they burned her ass at the stake, and it said as she was burning, she cursed them and said, "I will haunt you in your mirrors."
Fantastic.
That's very fucking specific.
Yeah.
I'm burning at the stake. I'm on fire. I'm inhaling smoke. And I'm like, fuck y'all. I'm going to haunt your mirrors. I don't know who says that. Obviously, the people that want this story to tie in, Chicago, that's where the Candyman aspect comes in. Mary Worth is their local Candyman legend. And it plays out with slavery tied into it, just like with Candyman. And Clive Barker was influenced by Mary Worth and Mary the First when he was crafting. Candyman is not what was the book called, Seth? Do you know?
Yeah, the Forbidden.
That's it, which is really good. Have you ever read it, Virginia? Really good, man. It's fucking really good. But yeah, he was influenced by them. Mary First, Elizabeth Batory, Mary Worth are all sons of bitches and deserve any bad things that happen to
them. And take a bow.
End scene. That's it, baby.
Well,
that's it.
All right. So, let's get into our final thoughts before we close it out for the night. Go ahead, Virginia. Your final thoughts on episode 5, Bloody Mary.
I mean, final thoughts. I love hearing the history of it. I think that's been my favorite part the last few lives that we've done. I just love hearing the history that you actually find out. Final thoughts is I just really enjoy the episode, and I always look forward to watching it again.
Yep.
It's one that I can actually watch back to back and be completely fine with. I mean, I love how it was filmed. I love the storyline. I love how they made it more unique with, the people that actually get attacked by Bloody Mary are the ones that have caused death, and not necessarily the person who stands in front of the mirror and actually says her name 3 times. So I like how they actually took it and made it their own. They put a twist on it so that it's actually a supernatural story instead of keeping it the same boring thing that it always is. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the episode, and I enjoyed that their relationship is getting closer. You're getting more of the banter with them. And you're getting deeper into what is going on in Sam's head. And I love that too. So yeah, I like the episode. Clearly.
Hey, speaking about I wished it would have been more about who says it, because for me, if something had happened to that little girl, it would have really raised the stakes. I don't want anything. I love children, but when there is a good movie or good story and children are harmed or killed, it really fucking raises. I can't explain what I'm trying. It does something to me. It makes it all that much more serious and you know what I'm saying? And I don't know. When I first watched it, I was like, oh my God, a kid's gonna, and I was like, oh man, they didn't, but it's cool too. But now people are gonna think I want kids to die.
Just go watch Children of the Corn, and then people won't argue with you.
That's right. That opening scene of that movie is crazy. I was like 6 when I watched it, and I was like, what? Oh, I love the episode, Seth. I fucking by the way, what is y'all's favorite one so far out of these 5? Just off the top of your head.
I would go with the pilot episode.
Pilot?
I would have to go with Bloody Mary.
Me too.
It was the first one I got like really, really excited about.
Yep. Me too. The first one had me excited initially, that initial, a new show with monsters and shit. But when I got around to watching Bloody Mary, that one is the first one that really hooked me. I don't know, not hooked me. I was hooked before, but it's mine too. Out of the 5 so far, I would go with Bloody Mary. No, I'm not. The third one's my favorite.
You guys should keep track, and maybe like when we get to the end of the season, we'll all go through our rankings. We'll rank every episode of the season.
Okay. All right. I'll go through. I'll do that every week now. That's right. Let me write that.
No, you won't.
I gotta literally make a note.
Hey, you guys, can you guys remind me?
Yeah.
I'll think about it.
But there's a lot to like about this episode, man. The main thing that I dug, other than the monster and Mary, was, like I said, Sam and Dean are 2 of my most favorite characters in television. I love the show, the premise. I love them, especially Dean. And seeing them get closer to what they will become. And I love Sammy. I'm glad you brought that up, because that's always been one of my favorite things about Dean, that he calls his little brother Sammy.
No.
And I look forward to every week. I can't wait the next week. What is the episode next week? I've watched that DVD, man.
Next week is one of my favorite episodes of the season, Skin.
Ah, that's so good.
Yep, it's one of my favorite episodes of the season. So.
Is that one where he's taking it off and it's real dark and dripping, and that is so.
It's like teeth are falling out.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes, that's fucking.
I love the shifter episodes. So those are some of my favorite ones.
Those are always so great. I love the one with the baby.
Ooh.
And he's like holding it up because he doesn't know what to do with it.
That scene in the store is funny too.
Yeah.
But yeah. Hell yeah. Skin that's one of my favorites too, Seth. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. But yeah, I dug it, man. Again, I just like it, man. I like the beginning, the middle, and the end.
Oh, is that all?
That's all. I like it whole bunches.
Okay. Yeah, so I really enjoyed this episode too. And like I said in the beginning, it is one of the stronger episodes of the first season. Yeah, really good episode. I'm definitely looking forward to next week's. So that should be a fun one to talk about.
Hell yeah, dude.
So do you guys have anything else to say before we sign out?
Oh,
not that I could think of.
A monster coloring book is being made right now. They're designing the cover, coloring, doing all the art, getting everything together. She said it might be a couple weeks before I can preview it, review it, and if everything checks out, they will start publishing long term, and I will have a coloring book to sell to the masses. So
yay, that's so exciting. I cannot wait.
I know, me either. They look so cool too. The 8x10, they are so awesome, man. It's just I cannot wait for people to be able to color my art. It's so fucking cool, man. That documentary I'm working on, Pajero, this very talented woman is digitally coloring my art. Y'all, it is fucking amazing. It's incredible. So now I finally got somebody coloring my artwork. I've always wanted that. So, yeah. That's it. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's cool, man. Congratulations, by the way.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So that'll do it for our discussion on Bloody Mary. We will be back next week, maybe, ? Because we're all very sickly. We should be back next week.
You probably just jinxed us.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
We'll be back next week with episode 6, Skin. And yeah, so have a wonderful night. See ya. I don't know how to end shit.